Are you living in a world you chose, or in a world that chose you? Because here's a truth most people never face. Wealth is not about money, it's about mindset. The poor see obstacles, the rich see opportunities. The poor ask, why me? The rich ask, what can I learn? And the invisible force behind all success isn't luck. It's a standard of thought, a standard of action, a standard of self. You see, two people can wake up in the same city with the same 24 hours, the same economy, and the same opportunities. Yet one drifts through life, always reacting, while the other directs it, always creating. The difference isn't education, it isn't inheritance, it isn't talent, it's mindset. The rich don't just think differently, they believe differently. They raise their internal standards and the world responds accordingly. Today, I'm going to take you on a journey, not to find money, not to find shortcuts, but to find your thinking. Because when you change your standards, you change your life. When you upgrade your mind, your wealth, your relationships, your health, and your destiny all follow. And the paradox is this: the higher the standard you set for yourself, the easier it becomes to rise. So, if you're ready to step out of the ordinary and challenge the invisible limits you've accepted, stay with me. Because what you hear today could very well be the turning point between the life you have and the life you were meant to create. Let me take you into the mindset of transformation. You see, most people wake up each day thinking, I wish I earned more. But wishing is a poor strategy. It's a lottery ticket without a draw. Income is not a number that falls from the sky. It is the mirror of your personal worth. You earn what you are worth, not what you wish for. If your value increases, your income follows naturally, almost inevitably. And the secret is simple. Though not always easy, raise your standard. Decide today that you will be more valuable tomorrow than you were yesterday. I remember a time early in my life when I was working hard, yet my bank account told a different story. I realized that no matter how many hours I put in, my income was capped by my skills, by what I could bring to the table. That's when I made a choice. I would become indispensable. Start by learning one new marketable skill each quarter. Don't just dabble, master something that the market needs, something that people will pay for gladly because it solves a problem. Then, deliver more than you are paid for. Go beyond the call of duty. I once spent extra hours analyzing a client's problem and presenting solutions they hadn't even asked for. The result wasn't just gratitude, it was trust, repeat business, and opportunities I hadn't imagined. Finally, measure the value you create. Track it weekly. If you cannot quantify your contribution, you cannot grow your income consciously. Each week, ask yourself, what did I produce? What problems did I solve? What doors did I open? Your answers are the ladder to your next financial step. The truth is simple. People don't get rich by luck. They get rich by being worth more, by consistently increasing their value, and by letting their earnings reflect the person they have become. Your income is waiting to rise. Only raise your standard and reach for it. Let's talk about the lens through which you view the world. Because the way you see life determines the life you see. Most people approach challenges like walls. They see obstacles, limitations, reasons why something can't be done. But the truth is, wealth and opportunity live on the other side of a growth mindset. Rich people don't just earn money, they learn constantly, they see opportunity where others see difficulty, they invest in themselves relentlessly. I've often reflected on my own journey. There were days when I had little more than an empty wallet and a head full of dreams. The difference between staying broke and moving forward wasn't luck. It was my decision to grow, to become a student of life. To cultivate a growth mindset, you must become a lifelong learner. Read books that challenge your thinking, books that expand your financial understanding, your leadership, your ability to influence others. Attend seminars, not for the entertainment, but for the insight, for the exposure to minds that think bigger than yours. And invest at least 1 hour daily in developing a skill that has value in the marketplace. I remember dedicating just 1 hour every evening to learning about personal development and business strategies. It felt small at the time, but 6 months later, my mindset had shifted and opportunities started appearing that I could finally recognize and seize. Here's the key: wealth is rarely found in what you already know. It is found in what you choose to learn. Every dollar you earn, every opportunity you create is directly tied to the person you are becoming. If you want more, you must become more. The world rewards those who grow, adapt, and see possibilities where others see problems. Your mindset is the soil, your actions are the seeds. Plant well and watch your life bloom. Let me tell you something very few people truly understand. The world is full of problems, but it's also full of opportunities disguised as those problems. The difference between the wealthy and the struggling isn't luck, it's vision. Every challenge you encounter, every frustration, every inefficiency in the marketplace is a seed. If you nurture it with creativity and action, it grows into profit. I remember the early days of my own journey, working odd jobs, barely scraping by. It would have been easy to complain, to see only walls and obstacles. But instead I asked a simple question: what is missing here? How can I make this better? That question changed everything. Turning problems into profits starts with awareness. Look around and ask yourself where others are struggling, what inefficiencies exist, what people are complaining about. Those are the gaps. And here's the secret: the richer you get, the more problems you must solve, because value is measured by your ability to provide solutions where others feel stuck. Once you identify a gap, offer a solution that makes life easier, faster, or more profitable for someone else. That is how you convert challenges into revenue streams. Then comes execution. Don't just think about the problem. Act on it. Develop a product, offer a service, share an insight, create a method. I once saw a simple inefficiency in my community and created a small solution. What seemed trivial at first became a recurring source of income. That's the law. Value attracts wealth. Wealth is not about how hard you work, it's about how many meaningful problems you solve. So stop fearing challenges. Start seeking them. Every problem holds a seed. Plant it wisely, water it with effort, and it will grow into the prosperity you seek. Let me share something most people don't realize. Money is emotional, but wealth is rational. The poor chase money when they feel fear or urgency, and they spend it when excitement clouds judgment. The rich understand a simple truth: your emotions should never dictate your financial decisions. Early in my life, I remember watching opportunities slip away because fear kept me frozen or excitement pushed me too fast. I learned the hard way that money expands under discipline and contracts under fear. That principle became my compass. Controlling your emotions around money begins with structure. Automate your savings so that the act of building wealth doesn't depend on a mood or a whim. Let your dollars work for you without needing constant oversight, because human nature is unpredictable. Next, review your spending every week. Look at where your money goes, not just where you hoped it would. Awareness breeds control, and control breeds confidence. The moment you see a pattern of impulsive spending or emotional investing, you have the power to adjust before it drains your resources. Finally, approach every investment with rational thought. Avoid the temptation of get-rich-quick schemes, the excitement of trends, or the fear of missing out. I once had a chance to jump into a flashy investment only to step back, analyze it logically, and save myself from a total loss. Wealth is built quietly, steadily, and without emotional drama. If you can master your feelings around money, you not only preserve what you have, but also position yourself to multiply it. Discipline and patience are the hidden engines of financial freedom. Remember, the calmer you are with your finances, the faster they grow. Let me paint a picture that too few truly understand. Money is a tool, not a trophy. Many spend their lives chasing dollars as if accumulation alone defines success. Yet the rich know a deeper truth. Money is a servant, not a master. I remember early in my career, scrambling just to make ends meet, thinking that more money would instantly solve my problems. It didn't. What changed everything was when I learned to see money as a means to an end, not the end itself. When you treat money as a tool, every dollar becomes purposeful, a worker on your behalf rather than a master over your emotions. Using money wisely begins with allocation. Pay yourself first, not in passing, but intentionally. Automate investments so that your money starts working for you before you even see it. This is not just saving, it is designing a system that multiplies itself quietly in the background, then makes spending intentional. Each expense should reflect a choice that aligns with your long-term goals. Early on, I made the mistake of spending impulsively, thinking it was harmless, only to find my opportunities shrinking. Finally, let your money create possibilities. Invest in assets that generate income, expand your knowledge, and open doors to new ventures. Money in motion, guided by purpose, will grow faster than money hoarded without direction. The shift is subtle but profound. When you stop worshiping money and start commanding it, it obeys. Wealth becomes a byproduct of action, strategy, and discipline, rather than the illusion of security. Remember, the moment money serves you, not the other way around, your financial life truly transforms. Let me share a truth that many overlook. Relying on a single source of income is like standing on one leg. Eventually, it will give way. The wealthy understand that true financial stability is not about how much you make in one place, but how many streams of income you create to support the life you want. I learned this the hard way in my early days, earning a modest paycheck and watching how unexpected setbacks could instantly derail my plans. That lesson taught me that relying on one source is a risk, not a strategy. Building multiple income streams begins with your skills. Identify what you do well and find ways to monetize it beyond your primary job. For me, it was writing and speaking that became a skill-based stream alongside other income sources. Next, direct some of your earnings into assets that generate passive income, real estate, investments, or royalties, so your money begins to work independently of your time. I still remember the first rental property I acquired. It wasn't just an investment, it was freedom in motion, a small machine that worked 24/7 while I focused on growth. Finally, develop scalable business streams. Systems and people can amplify your efforts far beyond what one individual can accomplish alone. Early on, I learned to leverage teams and tools, creating processes that could operate without my constant oversight. The result is stability, protection against the unexpected, and exponential growth. Diversification is not just safety, it is strategy. Each new stream strengthens your financial foundation, turning vulnerability into resilience. Remember, wealth built on multiple pillars doesn't shake when the winds of life blow. It stands tall and expands. Let me tell you something few truly grasp. Money is replaceable, time is not. In the early days of my journey, I treated every hour as just another moment to trade for cash. I hustled endlessly, believing that sheer effort equaled progress. And yet, at the end of many long days, I had little to show except exhaustion. That's when I realized the harsh truth. If you trade your life's most precious currency, time, for money that comes and goes, you may never achieve the freedom you seek. Wealth is not built by working longer. It is built by investing your hours where they matter most. The rich understand that 1 hour spent on high-value activity can produce far more than 10 hours spent on menial work. Early in my career, I began asking a simple question each morning. What activity today will bring the greatest return, not just financially, but in growth and influence? Suddenly, the focus shifted from busyness to effectiveness. I delegated tasks that were necessary but did not demand my unique contribution, freeing my time to create, learn, and expand. Planning ahead compounds the value of each day. I began mapping my days with intention, allocating blocks for learning, for strategy, and for relationship building. It's a small shift, but over months and years, the compound effect is profound. Time invested wisely multiplies results, while time squandered cannot be recovered. So, remember, your hours are your silent partners in wealth. Guard them, allocate them with purpose, and let them work for you. Money will come and go, but the strategic use of time builds the life you truly deserve. I've seen it countless times. People working hard, earning steadily, yet never moving forward financially. They save, yes, but only enough to feel safe, never enough to create opportunity. They hoard cash as if comfort alone can build wealth. And that is the trap. Money sitting idle is like a seed left in your pocket. It will never grow. Wealth is born when your savings begin to work, when every dollar becomes an employee, generating more dollars while you sleep, think, or create. Early in my life, I learned a lesson that changed everything. I was living paycheck to paycheck, barely scraping by. Yet I discovered that if I could save even a small portion of my income consistently and then direct it into opportunities, my financial trajectory could shift. I committed to saving 20% of every dollar I earned, not for vacations, not for indulgences, but to invest in things that could generate returns. Small businesses, assets, and education that improved my skills. Each investment was chosen carefully, not impulsively, and each one compounded over time. It's crucial to understand that luxury is not wealth, it's a reward after wealth has been created. Millionaires first prioritize assets, not toys. They study one new investment strategy each quarter, whether in stocks, real estate, or small businesses, always ensuring their capital works harder than they do. When your money serves you, you are no longer a slave to your paycheck. You become the master of your financial future. So, start treating every dollar as a soldier in your army of wealth. Save to invest, not merely to survive, and watch how your financial life begins to take command of your destiny. Discipline is the invisible engine behind every fortune. I've seen young people dream about wealth, plan for wealth, even talk about wealth, yet the reality never changes because their habits betray their intentions. Wealth is not created in a day or with a lucky windfall. It's built quietly, consistently, by the repeated actions that most people overlook. The rich understand that it is not inspiration that produces results, but habits repeated day after day. Early in my own journey, I realized that no amount of knowledge or vision could overcome inconsistent behavior. I had to create systems that made discipline automatic. I began by automating my investments so that money left my account before I could even spend it. It didn't matter if I felt motivated or tired. The system ensured I was growing my capital every month. I also scheduled a weekly review of my finances, taking 30 minutes to look at every expense, to see where I was leaking money and where I could optimize. This weekly reflection was not about judgment, but about alignment, making sure my actions matched my intentions. Discipline also extends to budgets. A budget is not a restriction, it is a roadmap. It tells your money where to go rather than letting it wander aimlessly. By living intentionally within the framework of a budget, every dollar is accounted for, every choice is conscious, and every step compounds over time. Wealth grows not from chance, but from daily choices repeated faithfully, like a farmer tending his fields year after year. So, if you want financial freedom, do not chase a windfall, cultivate discipline, make it a habit, automate it, review it, and let consistency, not luck, shape your financial future. The mindset of an investor is what separates those who accumulate wealth from those who merely spend it. They trade dollars for immediate gratification, collecting liabilities that drain their energy and resources, all the while believing they are building wealth. Real financial growth doesn't come from consumption. It comes from owning things that earn, appreciate, and multiply while you sleep. I learned this lesson the hard way. When I was young, I chased toys, gadgets, and clothes, thinking I was keeping up. But every month, my bank account shrank, and my stress grew. Then I started studying the habits of the financially successful. I realized they didn't work harder for money, they made money work harder for them. They looked at every dollar and asked, does this purchase build wealth or does it diminish it? That simple question changed the way I approached money forever. Thinking like an investor means evaluating each purchase in terms of future value. When I started buying assets instead of liabilities, I focused on real estate, small businesses, and dividend-paying investments. Each dollar deployed became a soldier working for me, creating passive income streams while I slept or worked on other ventures. I avoided debt for consumption and instead leveraged debt only when it could multiply my assets. Every decision became intentional, a choice between a liability today or a profitable asset for tomorrow. If you want to shift from struggling to thriving, stop consuming blindly and start investing consciously. Make every dollar a worker, every purchase an opportunity, and every financial decision a step toward building enduring wealth. The future rewards the investor, not the consumer. Debt is a tool, not a punishment. Yet so many people treat it like a trap, allowing it to dictate their lives instead of using it strategically. Early in my journey, I watched friends and acquaintances drown in consumer debt, credit cards for vacations, cars that lost value the moment they drove off the lot, and loans for things that offered no return. They believed debt was simply part of life. I realized that mindset was the difference between financial growth and financial collapse. Debt, when used wisely, becomes a lever for creating wealth. The key is purpose. Borrow for opportunities that generate income, real estate that pays you every month, a business that grows in value, or education that increases your earning potential. Each dollar borrowed should have a clear plan to return more than it costs. Borrow for consumption, and you're trapped. Borrow for creation, and you're empowered. I learned this lesson personally. In my early days, I avoided unnecessary consumer debt and instead leveraged small, strategic loans to start side projects. Those loans were disciplined, structured, and tied directly to potential returns. They weren't burdens, they were stepping stones. Practical discipline matters. Track every interest payment as a real expense and eliminate any high-interest debt first. Treat borrowed money with respect. It's not free, and the cost of mismanaging it is high. But when you use debt intentionally, it becomes a tool that multiplies your ability to create, invest, and grow. If you want wealth that compounds, change how you view debt. Stop fearing it blindly. Stop using it frivolously, and start leveraging it purposefully. Debt, in the hands of the disciplined, becomes a bridge to financial freedom instead of a chain that drags you down. Progress without measurement is just hope masquerading as effort. I remember early in my career, juggling jobs and side hustles, thinking I was moving forward simply because I was busy. But at the end of each month, I would realize that my bank account told a different story. The hard truth hit me. If you don't measure what's happening with your money, you have no control over it. Wealth is not an abstract dream. It's a precise outcome of daily actions, and accountability is the bridge between intention and results. To truly grow financially, you must track both income and expenses. Every dollar earned, every dollar spent should be accounted for. This is not about restriction, it's about clarity. When I began writing down every source of income and every outflow, patterns emerged. I could see where I was leaking money, where opportunities existed, and which habits were fueling growth versus stagnation. Daily tracking allows small corrections before they become large problems. Monthly reviews then turn data into insight. Look at trends, compare progress against goals, and ask yourself tough questions. Am I moving closer to the life I envisioned? Are my choices reflecting my highest priorities? Without regular review, money slips away unnoticed, and the vision you hold for your life remains just that, a vision, not a reality. Quarterly adjustments ensure your plan remains aligned with your evolving goals. Maybe an investment underperforms, maybe a new opportunity arises, but without measurement, you'll never know when to pivot. Wealth is created by action, but refined by reflection. To grow rich, start tracking, reviewing, and adjusting relentlessly. Control your money, or it will control you. Before any dollar lands in your pocket, a picture must first take shape in your mind. I've learned this lesson the hard way. In my early days, I hustled, I worked long hours, and yet my life felt scattered. I was chasing money, not creating it. Then it hit me. Without a clear vision, no amount of effort would ever produce the results I longed for. Vision precedes victory. Money follows clarity, not chaos. Wealth begins as an image in your mind long before it appears in your bank account. If you want a different life, you must first see it, feel it, and believe in it. I started by writing a detailed 10-year financial vision. Not vague statements like, I want to be rich, but a concrete, living picture. The house, the lifestyle, the business, the legacy I intended to leave. Every morning, I revisited that vision, letting it guide my thoughts, my priorities, and my actions. This daily alignment created a magnetic force, drawing opportunities, ideas, and strategies toward me. Decisions without vision are like arrows fired in the dark. Decisions with vision are guided and purposeful. Each choice I made, from investments to daily tasks, was tested against one question. Does this move me closer to my vision? If yes, I acted. If not, I let it pass. Over time, small aligned actions compounded into monumental results. Vision is more than dreaming. It's a blueprint for life, a mental rehearsal that shapes reality before hands ever touch the work. If you want money to follow, first give your mind a direction. Create clarity, embrace it daily, and let your vision lead every step. I've discovered something remarkable about wealth. It doesn't come to those who are always wanting more. It comes to those who appreciate what they already have. Abundance attracts more abundance, while scarcity repels it. Early in my journey, I was constantly chasing the next deal, the next paycheck, the next success, never pausing to acknowledge what I had already earned or achieved. It was exhausting, and paradoxically, it blocked growth. That's when I began practicing gratitude, not as a fleeting feeling, but as a daily discipline. Every morning, I'd list the financial wins from yesterday, no matter how small. A paid bill, a closed client, an unexpected opportunity. Celebrating these victories shifted my focus from lack to plenty, from fear to possibility. It rewired my mind to see opportunities where before I only saw obstacles. Gratitude doesn't just warm the heart, it sharpens the mind and opens doors. I also learned to reflect on the abundance around me. Mentors willing to guide me, skills I had cultivated, and the resources at my disposal. Rather than comparing myself to others or lamenting what I didn't have, I focused on leveraging what I already possessed. This practice fueled smarter decisions, calmer financial management, and more disciplined investments. Each reflection created a magnetic energy, pulling wealth and opportunity toward me. The lesson is simple. Abundance is a mindset first. By acknowledging the wins, appreciating resources, and focusing on the value you already control, you invite more of it into your life. Scarcity never builds wealth, but a grateful heart and a disciplined focus on abundance can turn even modest beginnings into lasting prosperity. Ladies and gentlemen, as we bring our journey to a close today, I want to leave you with a truth that is as simple as it is powerful. Your life, your wealth, your destiny, all begin with the standards you set for yourself. Everything that surrounds you, the success, the money, the relationships, the opportunities, reflects the level at which you operate. If you wish to live a life of abundance, it begins with raising the bar for yourself. If you want more, you must become more. I've spent years observing those who struggle financially and those who flourish. The difference isn't luck. It isn't connections or timing. The difference is standards. The poor accept circumstances. The wealthy change them. The poor live by chance. The rich live by choice. And choice always begins with awareness. Take a moment and ask yourself, what standards am I currently living by? Are they moving me toward wealth and freedom, or are they holding me back in comfort and mediocrity? The answer will shape every decision you make from this moment onward. Now, raising your standards isn't about working harder alone. It's about thinking differently, acting intentionally, and mastering yourself. It's about choosing to develop skills relentlessly, managing your money with discipline, investing in assets that work for you, and building habits that compound over time. It's about surrounding yourself with people who inspire growth, not drain it. It's about transforming obstacles into opportunities, problems into profits, and setbacks into stepping stones. The practical truth is this: wealth is not a game of chance, but a game of cause and effect. Every small action, every decision, every daily habit becomes the blueprint for your future. When you commit to higher standards in how you think, act, spend, save, and grow, the results follow. The process is gradual, almost imperceptible at first, but relentless. A little improvement each day compounds into extraordinary transformation over months and years. So here's my challenge to you. Start today, not tomorrow. Decide right now to raise your standards in at least one critical area of your financial life. Track it, measure it, and hold yourself accountable. Write down your vision. Define the habits that will get you there. Review them daily. Speak the language of wealth, act with purpose, and refuse to settle for anything less than the life you know you're capable of living. Remember, life doesn't hand out miracles, it responds to decisions. Every great fortune, every lasting achievement begins with one decision: to refuse mediocrity. So take ownership, raise your standards, align your actions with your vision, and watch as the world around you shifts to meet the new level of who you've chosen to become. Your life will not change by chance, but by choice, and that choice begins this very moment.